If you don't trust yourself, other people are not going to trust you. And once again, we think about trust in marketing. It's like, I don't have the number off the top of my head, but the Foreign A's group did research, and I think it was 91% of CEOs don't trust the role and the function of the marketing team,
That's
but
right.
they trust the CFO and they trust the CIO. Maybe, maybe it's because you don't trust yourself. Which, what is trust? It comes down to two things: it's words and actions.
Well, and I think the whole idea, and we've talked about this as our team here is growing, is you want to hire the marketing expert, and it should be clear across the organization that that person is the expert on marketing and should be deferred to on strategic decisions. That's why they have the job. That's why I gave it to them, because they're better at it than I am.
And
And we're
it's
not getting that.
and it's funny because a lot of times when I do talk with a marketing leader, a CMO, an SVP, a VP, they're like, everything you're saying, everything I've heard you say on the podcast, everything you've written about in your books, I've been trying to bring this into my organization, but no one's listening to me. That's a human behavior component. Even if you respect yourself, even if you trust yourself, even if you love yourself, when you respect, trust, and love yourself, it makes the conflict that you're going to feel easier to bear because you
Yeah.
know you're doing everything right. It's when you don't respect yourself, it's when you don't trust yourself, it's when you don't love yourself. That's when that conflict starts to creep in and becomes doubt, becomes uncertainty, becomes fear, depression, anxiety,
Yep. Stress.
all of the negative emotions. But when you respect, trust, and love yourself, and you're in a season of conflict, conflict's not bad. Conflict is actually where growth sometimes happens, because if you think about a diamond is formed under conflict, a diamond is formed under
Yeah.
pressure.
Yeah.
It's just how you deal with the conflict, it's how you deal with the stress.
Yeah.
And but if you're trying to bring new ideas in and you feel like those ideas are being rejected, that's a very common pattern of human behavior, because we think about the writings and the works of Edward Schopenhauer. He was a German philosopher in the late 1800s. And one of the things he said is, when a new idea, truth, is introduced into an environment, an organization, first and foremost, it's made fun of, it's laughed at. Second, it's going to be fought against, violently
Hmm.
opposed. And then third, it's going to be made self evident. And it takes time to navigate those three stages. But when you trust, respect, trust, and love yourself, it's much easier because to walk that path. Once again, personal perspective here. My wife, as you know, Audrey, Delina, is a truth teller. She does not care about what anyone thinks about her. So she's just going to speak her mind and just let it flow. Ruthlessly kind is how she is. But a lot of what she has told me over the years, areas, blind spots that I have had, things that she has brought, created awareness, things that sometimes I didn't even want to accept, she was right.
Hmm.
I had to go pay other advisors, consultants, coaches to tell me the exact same damn thing. And she's like, I told you that like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And if you're trying to bring a new idea in, but you feel like it's being rejected, sometimes having the external objective perspective is simply all you need. And I mean, I've gone to bat
Yeah. And
dozens of
it's
times.
validation. I mean, how many
Yes.
times do we hear the words, I feel validated? Finally, someone gets me. I'm not off. I'm not crazy.
Mhm.
And you have. been this supportive role. I have seen a dozen times to those that we have worked with or are currently working with, and they're frustrated. They're at that point. Um, and you're helping them know that, yeah, you're not alone. And in some cases, there has been changes. There has been role changes or organization changes. Because at some point, you can only do what you can do, right?
Yeah.
You've got the courage to say something, to stand up, to try to make a change, but you can only do so much. And at some point, you may have to make that challenging decision to consider other options.